Right, along these lines, then, another player I want to ask about is one that's still in G2 to this day, and it's Caps. Now, this is one thing where we couldn't be too explicit about this in the past. So here's how I'll say this, Carlos. I have spies everywhere. I mean, they're not really spies. I say that like that just to put the shits up people like Nicola and I'm like, fucking, oh, who is it? Like, it's more like there's just people in orgs, people talk, and especially sometimes they can't say it themselves because it's their job here, but they want people to know things. They want to know, they want credit for things. They want to know that it didn't go down the way it seemed like that. And that's one of the things I've always done in my career is once I know it's legit and I cross-reference it, I can say it. So here's what I heard. If people don't know, there never was a world where Perks permanently could be the mid laner instead of Caps. Because one of the things I heard that you did, which is a very clever move, because I always wondered, how did you get Caps in a G2? Like, what would be the angle? Because the most obvious thing you would think, and apparently this is something that Caps himself was thinking about, is, right, so I joined Perks' team and then he's going to go AD. But wait a minute. Like, basically, G2 is Perks' team, though, and he's already won championships there. So, like, if he ever wants to come back, though, I'm either out of a job or what? I have to play AD. Like, that, I get, if I'm joining, like, I would think about, that's actually smart. You don't just go in like, oh, it's going to be brilliant. Like, it'll go forever. Like, you've got to think these things. And I heard, basically, people know Caps' dad is in the scene, and he's taking care of him, and he's helped guide his career. I heard, basically, you sort of made, like, like, here's my word, like, look, if you join the team, we'll never do that to you. We'll never just come to you one day like, look, sorry, mate, you're out. Perks is back, mate. You don't get a choice. Essentially, if you want the gig while you're under contract, you're the mid laner of G2. Something like this is accurate. It's part of how you got him.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate. That's pretty accurate. And you know, if you know me enough to know that if I give you my hand and say whatever it is, my words come out of my mouth while giving you the handshake, that is happening without a glimpse of doubt. But Caps and his dad didn't deal with me until then. And they still gave me the benefit of the doubt. You know, they still gave me the benefit of the doubt, and they said, okay, this looks to me like a gentleman that keeps his word. And I've proven it to them in the worst potential scenario, which is public retaliation. The whole thing was horrible for me. And they still saw that I kept my word, regardless of the circumstances. I kept my word. The only way Perks stays is by having Caps as mid laner. But even then, at some point, because we spoke about this 1,000 times, at some point it wasn't even anymore.
Yes.
And yeah.
By the way, along these lines, though, what was the significance for you of having Caps in the G2 org? What's he been like as a player?
Well, on one end, like from an outside the game perspective or outside Caps perspective, it's like having it's like getting Messi from Barcelona at his peak, and from player perspective, I mean, Caps is what we spoke about, the chaotic good type of personality. Caps is the same way, but multiplied by 10. It's multiplied by 10 chaotic, multiplied by 10 good. He has one of the kindest hearts I have seen anybody have. He's just a happy guy, and he's a good human, very good human. He can get easily convinced one way or easily convinced the other way because he's just a good, very good person, and that can be a problem sometimes. He also can get into his head too much, like change his mind last minute. Oh, I want to play this, but we never practiced it, type of guy, After practicing for 3 weeks straight for the key game, then 5 minutes before the game, he might get a change in his mind. It could happen.
Yeah.
And you have to know how to deal with that. It's not easy. You cannot just say yes because the whole team relies on that decision, but you cannot just say no because it's Caps.
Sure.
But it's also what makes him special. The Caps magic is called magic because it cannot be explained otherwise. And in key moments, he will be Claps, and in some other key moments, he will be Craps. But I think it would be very unfair to say that Claps wasn't present in the most amount of clutch situations out of anybody in the West, period. Like, well, Perks, you can make a case for Perks, yes. But for me, both positive, because I have both.
Sure.
Those two are my guys, yeah. But Caps is so special, man. The way his mind works is so special. And look, the issue of magic magician players is that the magic one day goes away, and because it's not a structured play. Like Faker, you can argue he had his years of magic, but he developed into a structured role over the years, and non-flashy, very good for the team role over the years, and he's been able to continue remaining successful. It's not different than what I've done myself, but he's done it significantly better as a player, But I think Caps is not this way. I think Caps is ride or die, motherfucker, And when the magic is gone, the magic will be gone. Until then, let's enjoy Caps.
See more cool, funny, interesting clips based on topics from my content? Well, subscribe to this channel then, or, be a pleb and don't.